Welcome, everybody. This is our top 5 tight ends over on OwnersBox this week. Again, if you have not played OwnersBox, it is the best place to play daily fantasy sports because it's super flex. There's no defense. There's no kickers. Me and Soda love it. If you want to give it a try, just click the link in the description. Use code MENLY when you sign up, and they are matching deposits up to $500 on OwnersBox, so you have to give it a try. Soda's going to start us off with some honorable mentions at the tight end position. Soda, what you got?
Tight ends are where you make your money, no distractions. We have Kate Otten, Danielle Bellinger, and I am drawing a blank on the third one, Adam. Do you remember who it was? Oh, Evan Ingram, who's cracked our top 5 every week, but this week has to make honorable mention.
He did not quite make it this week, but again, a great punt play. But we will move on to our top 5. Remember, tight ends, there's not a ton to choose from. There's not a ton that get very many fantasy points, so you want to make sure you choose the right one. But coming in at number 5 is Packers tight end Robert Tonyan. We already talked about it. Randall Cobb is out. Robert Tonyan should be a pretty big target for Aaron Rodgers. Soda, what do you think about Robert Tonyan?
Again, I expect Aaron Rodgers to go back to what he's comfortable with, especially with Randall Cobb out. And that is Lazard, and that is Tonyan. So this is a great value at tight end. It's a great number 5 for us. He could have a huge week.
Yeah, Tonyan is only 4,600. He may be heavily owned because, there's a lot of people that go to the most recent game and see how they did. See that he got 12 targets and 10 receptions. But at 4,600, he is a very good play, and he should get some targets in the red zone after not having any last week. So that brings us to number 4. This guy should not come as a surprise to anybody. It was hard putting him at number 4 even. But at 6,400, he's a little spendy at the tight end position. But he is their wide receiver 1, and that is Travis Kelce for the Kansas City Chiefs going against the Niners. Soda, what do you think about Kelce?
Yeah, I think this is you said this earlier in text messages, this is the tight end matchup of the century. The only reason I really am comfortable putting him this low is because he's been so hot lately. He's got to cool off a little bit, but he's still the number 1 option for the Chiefs.
Yeah, and Soda called it last week. He said, don't expect him to have 4 touchdowns, but don't expect him to have only 25 yards, and that is exactly what Travis Kelce did last week. We expect him to put together another big week, but at the price, we think there might be better options at the tight end position, so Travis Kelce comes in at number 4. At number 3, we are staying in that game. Like Soda said, we think this is the tight end matchup of the century. I'm pretty excited about it. He's going against George Kittle and the 49ers. George Kittle is 5,100. Soda, what do you think about George Kittle?
I love George Kittle. A Hawkeyes boy in college. This guy, I could pick him every week if I was picking with my heart, not my brain. But he's really been coming on lately. Him and Jimmy G's got a good history. And you got to chase this tight end matchup this week. It's just too good to miss out on.
Yeah, he never really got a chance to get comfortable with Trey Lance, but we know that him and Jimmy G have a pretty good connection. 10 targets, 8 receptions last week. We'd like to see a few more red zone targets. Those numbers are pretty low. Again, no touchdowns, but this is going to be the week. This is going to be the week he's going to score one, and you don't want to miss out on it. It brings us to number 2. We're going to go a little cheaper here at 4,600. This is a guy we pretty consistently have in our top 5, and it's David Njoku going against the Baltimore Ravens, who are ranked 32nd against tight ends. Soda, what do you think about Njoku this week?
I cannot figure out why he's priced that low. I mean, he's been as good, if not better, than everybody except for Kelce and Andrews. He's been a top tight end in the league and fairly consistent for a tight end position. Hoping he can find the end zone. I'm actually going to make a prediction of 2 touchdowns this week.
Yeah, consistency is a good way to put it. I've said this before when we've talked about tight ends. I love to look at red zone targets. I like to get the guys that are getting targeted in the red zone so they can get those touchdowns. And he's 4th in red zone targets. So David Njoku is a good option. 11 fantasy points a game. David Njoku against the Ravens is number 2. That brings us to our number 1 tight end, and we are staying right there in that game. and that is Mark Andrews at 5,900. Right here, he's averaging 23 fantasy points in the last 2 games. Soto, what do you think about Mark Andrews?
Isn't that something? We call the Chiefs Niners the tight end matchup of the century, but then we put the Ravens Browns game at 1-2 right above.
Yep.
It's wild. How's that work?
Yeah, I don't get it, but these two, based on their price and how much we think they could score, could be a good week of tight end matchups. I think that should be the headline of the week.
And you make a good point there. It's really about price here. Both these guys are cheaper than Kelsey Kittle, right?
Andrews is the second most expensive, so he's more than Kittle.
But the price between the two, that's kind of why they rank where they do, just because of really, Andrews. We said it about Kelsey. We said it about Kittle. He's a consistent target. He's going to get the volume share. He's a horse, man.
Yep. And just like Kelsey, he is their number 1 receiver, even at the tight end position. Look at this, just double-digit targets in all these games except for 2. So he's getting plenty of targets. He's getting the touchdowns. In the red zone, him and Kelsey are the top 2 guys, and that is why they're priced where they're at. So to recap, at number 5, we have Robert Tonyan. Number 4, Travis Kelsey. Number 3, George Kittle. Number 2, David Njoku. And our number 1 tight end this week was Mark Andrews. We hope everybody has a fruitful week over on OwnersBox. Stay manly, everybody.